Hi, loves. So we just started the 7th month of her mystery school, the month of Oracle. And the month of Oracle focuses on self-authority, the guidance that upwells from within, that is our own deepest compass, most trustworthy source of guidance. We spend the entire month focusing on recovering a deep connection and trust in our internal guidance and reconsidering all the things that we turn to for guidance otherwise. We get current on who we look to outside of ourselves for guidance and for wisdom, to know what's right, what's wrong, what's for us, not for us. And we clean that up. We bring everything basically to self-authority and then see what remains. So inside of the month of Oracle, there's quite a few practices actually. And one of the biggest practices we work with is called the recovery of knowing. And what it deals with is the healing of self-betrayal. That's what I wanted to share with you today, spend some time together around, is self-betrayal. And what is it to recover from that? To self-betrayal. Self-betrayal is such a deeply fracturing experience, and we all go through it. It's from the times and the experiences when we knew what was right for us and we didn't listen. We heard internal guidance and we ignored it. And then the cost was huge. The cost to us, the cost to the people that we love, the cost to our lives, just the cost is huge. And it leaves us not only with the repercussions of having not listened, it also can leave us with a fracture in the alliance that we hold with our own selves. Okay. I am the only companion. I am the closest companion to me, and you are the same for yourself. And to be that close of a companion to someone you don't really trust all the way is a tough thing to do for the rest of your life. And it compromises confidence, it compromises faith, it compromises clear knowing from here on out, and availability to life, availability to love. The more we experience self-betrayal and don't restore from it, the more we are less and less likely to trust our choices, to trust who and how we love, to trust what we do when we do it. So I can't lead you through a practice here in this video, but I'm going to boil down the recovery of knowing practice into 7 steps that I wanted to share, to offer to you in terms of a way to move through what self-betrayal you may be holding and turn it into fuel for your future and to recover the knowing inside of it so that actually you become more of an ally to yourself and an advocate than you ever have been. So let's talk about the steps. So the first is get comfortable and nourished in your present moment. Breathe. So you don't want to move into something painful and confusing and fracturing like self-betrayal without an anchor in your present moment. And it doesn't have to be huge, but give yourself a little space and notice what's soft, notice what's warm, notice the candlelight, notice, make a cup of tea, whatever it is for you that's simple, but brings you into a sense of comfort and being held in your moment, in your place. The second step then is just to summon the experience. In a softened, anchored place, let it kind of wash back over you. What was happening? What were you choosing? Who was involved? What was the cost? How long did it last? Just really let the whole thing, in whatever way it will, reemerge, come alive in you again, so that you have access to the third step, which is to go underneath of all that was happening and start to sense into your body and ask, how did you know what you did know then? So what you have now is hindsight, right? And hindsight can be a painful gift because you know so much that you didn't know then, that you couldn't have known then. And had you known then, you would have maybe suffered a lot less, made different choices. But with hindsight, what you can also do is legitimize your knowing. Legitimize what you knew. So when we're inside of things, it is often, life isn't clear. Relationships especially aren't clear. So when you're inside of it, you're getting all sorts of signals, all sorts of feelings. Somewhere in there is your deep knowing. And it's when we feel we've betrayed that we carry this pain of self-betrayal forward. So as you let the whole experience arise again, just ask to be shown, how did you know what you knew? Did your stomach tighten? Did your heart clench? Did you have rushes of anxiety? Did you feel uncharacteristically jealous, insecure, irrational? Did you have dreams? Were you reading cues in other people's faces, body language, that would have let you know, that were telling you what was actually going on, but that you weren't sure yet that you could trust? So really take time to get your languaging. It'll be nuanced. It's very specific to you, and it's one of the most potent aspects, one of the two most potent aspects of the recovery of knowing is this. Recover how you know what you know, so that as you move into the future, you have that with you. When your stomach tightens again, when you get anxious for no reason, when you're reading people's body cues, or when you're having dreams, that you don't disregard that. You have the power of hindsight now to validate that you knew what you knew, exactly how you knew it, no matter what anybody was saying, no matter your own doubt in yourself, no matter all the things that you wanted that were in conflict with that. So that's your third step, is to sense into your body, ask to be shown how you knew what you knew, and to really take that in. The fourth step is to open your eyes to how and why you didn't, couldn't, or wouldn't listen at the time. So one of the things about self-betrayal is that it's painful enough to not have listened to ourselves and to have experienced the cost of that. But what's added to that is our own judgment of ourselves for having betrayed ourselves, especially if we've done it multiple times. So, that's not helpful. And more than that, there's more power for you to gather if you stop doing that. So if you betrayed yourself, it's not simply because you don't have the self-respect, it's not simply because you don't trust yourself. It's not because you're naive, all the judgments that you have, and you're needy. It's not that. You don't want to stop there. Go deeper. What did you need or want so intensely, so strongly, that you were willing to not listen, not know what you knew, not make the changes that were being impulsed from inside of you? Self-betrayal often comes from just the reality that there's paradox in life, there's inner conflict that arises, things aren't always clear, and there are deep needs inside of us that won't rest until they're met. So why didn't you do what you needed to do? Why did you betray yourself? Why did you betray your own knowing? And as you ask to be shown that, don't ask to be shown that as if you're willing to see how ridiculous you were, how flawed you are. Do that with a willingness to recognize that as powerful as your knowing is, your needs, especially your sacred needs, are just as powerful. your needs for intimacy, your needs for safety and security, your needs to be seen, your needs to be held, your needs to maybe not be alone, even if that company isn't amazing, and you want to know that need, because like I said, that need won't rest until it's met, and it might come out sideways. You have a journey ahead of you to validate, own, and then tend to that need in reverent ways, in ways of power and of respect and true care that can be aligned with your knowing. And it's a necessary part of the healing of self-betrayal, because self-betrayal, you'll continue again and again and again, because those needs are true and they're strong. So open your eyes to how and why you didn't or couldn't listen. Was it circumstantial? Was it emotional? What was it? Try to be as honest as you can with that. It's going to be easier to be honest with yourself if you're also being kind to yourself. It's fine if you were just extremely needy, if you felt extremely insecure. That's okay. Our vulnerabilities are just a reality. The more that you open to that, the more you will evolve that. The more you will follow that need to its fruition, and not just hang out in neediness, unsatisfied connections, insecurity, and shaky foundations, right? So the fourth step actually was to open your eyes to how and why you couldn't or couldn't listen. The fifth step was to identify the need. I conflated those a little bit. So you identify the need, and you want to boil it down to, obviously you want to boil it down out of the circumstances. Oh, I really needed this person to be in my life. Oh, I really needed this much money. I needed this circumstance. It's not about circumstantial needs. You want to come down to the sacred, more core need. What is motivating you? What is it? Is it love? Is it to be upheld? Is it to create a life and stability with someone else? Is it loneliness? What is it? That's your need. That is the second gift of the recovery of knowing. The two gifts. How do you know what you know? And two, what is your need? What is the need that would keep you from acting on what you know? Fully listening. So when you find your knowing and you find your need, then you breathe and soften and just release the whole experience. Like, just let it wash away again. You summoned the experience, you summoned what happened, you summoned all the story, letting it flow away, but keeping your wisdom. So really understanding, having that feeling, that knowing of having kind of taken a dive back in and gathered a few pearls, and keeping those in your hands as you let the story wash away. Those pearls, those gems, those are the recovery of your knowing, right? Those are adornments for you, adornments of wisdom, adornments of self-knowing, adornments of authentic intimacy with yourself that you can wear now, that you can beautify your life with. As you heal self-betrayal through both knowing how you know what you know and really knowing what you need, you'll start to come more and more into an integrated whole. And the motivation to betray what you know as you tend to your needs will dissipate. Your maturity as a being who understands yourself, who really does trust, who has earned your own trust in your own internal languaging about what you know, even if it's not apparent, that will grow through recovering the language of knowing from times when you abdicated your knowing. And then your last step is to write it down. To just, even if it's 2 words, the word of your need and the word of your languaging. Whatever it is, just write it down. It'll help you capture it a little bit more. It'll help you make it real and help you have something that you're taking forward with you that is not self-betrayal. So what you can come out of this process with, this practice with, is, you walk in with self-betrayal, you walk out with self-authority, self-knowing, and much deeper intimacy with your own needs, because until you are tending them, it's going to be very difficult for you to bring them to relationships and to life in a way that they can actually be met. So, self-betrayal, being healed through a recovery of knowing, so that you can come into wholeness again, into an integrated alliance with yourself. So that in the face of all the things, of all the ways that you're being pushed and pulled, told what's right, told what's wrong, all the ways, both by culture, by intimate relationships, that inside of that, you can find this pillar that will help you discern. Oracle is very much about discernment. Without discernment from the inside of you, what is for you and what is not for you, it is very easy to become very lost and very dissipated in the world and in all the push and pull that prevents you from the potency of not only your own knowing, but your own destiny and your own power, your own passion, your own capacity to face and make medicine from what is in front of you, and to keep advocating for yourself, to keep getting up time and time again, to believe in love again, to open, to trust from a wiser place, from an earned competence in yourself. So the upshot of that, of the recovery of knowing, is that self-betrayal does not necessarily at all mean that you are somehow flawed, that you made a big mistake, or that you did things that cost you so much. What self-betrayal is often is just a conflict of your knowing and your need. They want to come together because your knowing will take care of your need and your need will inform your knowing, right? They want to come together in you. So it's, as you approach self-betrayal, approach it as not something that cost you so much, but as a source of fuel for you. A source of fuel. How else are you going to learn how you know what you know? It's not like, no, we're not actually born with it. We actually have to earn it. We do actually have to go through these experiences, cultivate the nuance of our own beings, master our lives, understand what we were created to be, how we work, how life works. So inside of a self-betrayal really is just the deep aliveness of your own knowing, making itself known to you. When you come back to that, and when you capture all the fuel of, basically, when you betray yourself, when you don't hear what you needed to hear, when you don't move with your own knowing, the cost of that does become really powerful fuel for never doing it again, for aligning with your knowing and listening deeply to her. Listening, doing, following, adhering to what you're being shown, and knowing what you know. To be an oracle for your own self, to gather from the depths, knowing that will take you forward, that will help you navigate the confusing and conflicting and painful terrain of life. That is, like I said, it's one of the deepest alliances you can have. And I wish that for you. I wish you to sit inside of the security of your own trustworthy voice and trustworthy wisdom that will never leave you, that cannot ever leave you. So let's give thanks for our self-betrayals and gather the riches from them, because self-betrayal does not need to be a part of life forever, just because it's been a part of life and just because it's happened, however many times it's happened. At any moment, you recover your knowing and you gather yourself back to yourself from that experience, and you can move forward with a self-authority that will not allow self-betrayal again. So, blessed be. I do hope this has served.